See it right out the window there. This tornado is moving north, slow moving, violent tornado.
What a busy day we had yesterday. Reed Timmer, extraordinaire, severe weather chaser, looking at a tornado, and what a day. We had 26 reports of tornadoes yesterday. I want to go to another video, and boy, you could really see what this tornado looked like once it was on the ground, and you could see all of the debris being thrown up into the atmosphere. Now, luckily, this tornado was in an open field. There was very little damage as far as property, and thankfully, no lives lost, but it was quite a tornado. And remember, Reed Timmer is the best at this. He knows what he's doing, and of course, he was able to capture this video and also stay safe, and that's certainly something that's just as important. All right, you can see the leftover, the showers and thunderstorms that produced the tornado yesterday. They are pressing across the Plain States, and what we're seeing is a pretty large area of showers and thunderstorms, anywhere from the Dakotas back into Missouri. There's a little white that you're looking at here, and I'm going to zoom in near the Twin Cities here first. This little white area that you're seeing, these are lightning strikes, and there is some belief that when you start seeing more and more lightning strikes, that is an indication that the thunderstorms are strengthening. And luckily, we've been seeing the opposite of that over the last couple of hours, with this band pushing north of the Twin Cities and the other area across South Dakota. But I think if we're going to see any severe weather today, it's going to end up being a little farther south. Now, I want to direct your attention to these showers and thunderstorms here across southern parts of Illinois, and we had some dying thunderstorms in Iowa. I really do believe that you're going to see this area really start to ramp up late this afternoon, and those thunderstorms will then head towards Chicago, Milwaukee, and eastern parts of Illinois later on today. Now, I'm not sure they're going to be severe, but I certainly believe there's going to be some heavy rain with these and major travel delays, so keep that in mind. The area that bears the most watching as we move forward is north and west of Little Rock here. Look at these bands of thunderstorms right now. And you'll also notice a lot of the white dots showing up. And I think this does bear watching. Let's zoom in a little bit here to get a closer look. It has the look to me that the thunderstorms are starting to bow out a little bit. You see how this line, how it bows out just a little bit. Now, when we get that signature, that is usually a signature of some gusty winds. Now, we don't have any warnings with this yet, but this bears watching. And in fact, what I want to do is stop this. And right in here, you'll notice this little band right along Interstate 40 between Fort Smith and Little Rock. This is where I've seen the lightning pick up in intensity in the last couple of hours. You'll notice the red shading as well. I think we may start seeing some hail, and you can see that bowing impact that I talked about out ahead of this main cluster. So we may start getting some gusty winds out ahead of this, so that's something that bears watching. As we go through the rest of today, here is our severe weather outlook. It's a pretty large area, and again, the Chicago area, you're in the green, which is marginal. That's marginal for severe weather. I think you're going to get hit with numerous showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon and tonight. We'll keep an eye on this zone in here. This is where the thunderstorms will refire late today, around Wichita Falls, up toward Topeka, and then another area across the Big Bend of Texas. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think we have some time, and we'll watch that area of thunderstorms as it drifts to the southeast across Arkansas. Boy, meanwhile in the east, and now we get to talk about something pretty pleasant. Suddenly summer, isn't it? Look at this frontal boundary, which, by the way, that's going to be playing havoc on the weather in the northeast over the next couple of days. But today, southwest winds, everybody's in the 80s. We're looking at high temperatures today, 85 Washington, D.C., 86 Philadelphia, 86 Boston. By the way, record highs are in the lower to middle 90s, so we're not looking at record warmth. But I mentioned this front. Watch what happens to it. By tomorrow, it starts getting awfully close to Boston. And these fronts that come in from the north are a pain in the neck. It wouldn't take much for this front to come on down. into Boston. Boston, I could see you in the 80s tomorrow. I could see you falling in the 60s in the afternoon. We'll keep an eye on that boundary, not only on Thursday, but Friday as well. One thing I can tell you, if you're south of this front, you're summer-like warm. So from New York City, certainly Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., we're not going to be looking at much of anything. I want to go through full on this, right? And you can see how that front kind of hangs out a little bit across the northeast. And we have a bigger front that may cause bigger problems across the northeast as we head into the weekend. All right, we want to end today on the tropics. Why? Well, first of all, we're only a week away from the beginning of the hurricane season, but for those that have been watching us on AccuWeather.com, we've been talking about the stories. We have videos on this. Yours truly. Check me out on Twitter on Rayno, also Facebook at Bernie Rayno, or Twitter at Breaking Weather, and also at AccuWeather.com. We're worried about the possibility of a tropical system that may form in the Atlantic this weekend, and I want to show you why. First of all, color water vapor loop. I love the water vapor loop. Everybody knows that. In fact, some people sometimes wishes I didn't use it as much. But here's what's going on. Dry air denoted by the yellow shading. You see that? Then you have this white area. That's where we have moisture. And remember what boundaries are? They separate air masses. So we have a boundary pretty far south in the Atlantic. That's problem number one. And remember, boundaries are locations where storm systems can form, assuming you have something to trigger it. And we do. Because we have this deep trough or big dip in the jet stream coming southward. A piece of this trough is going to be left behind later today, more likely tomorrow. What's going to end up happening then along this boundary is that you're going to get a storm to form along this boundary as that piece of energy comes south with the jet stream. So by the time we get into, I'd say tomorrow or Friday, here's our storm forming along this boundary. Now, waters are warm, middle to upper 70s, but see, it's that little extra lift because of that jet stream disturbance coming down that will allow this storm to form along the boundary, and then we have a possibility of the storm, which is more like what we would see in the wintertime, start to move northward over warmer waters, a little enhanced upward motion because of that extra energy, and slowly but surely, and that's the key, it would have to be a slow progression, this could start to translate into a tropical system. This is a classic way that we get early season development. Now, if that happens, that would be as we head into Sunday and Monday. Two scenarios. Number one, this system just continues to move along, and it's just an area of rain and some thunderstorms, and it can have some wet weather with it. Or number two, it stays out in the water longer, starts to drift north, and then by Memorial Day, we could be looking at either a tropical storm, a weak tropical storm, or a subtropical storm. I don't want to get into the difference on that right now. But nonetheless, this is an area that has to be watched as we head toward the latter half of this weekend and early next week. Three things I want to leave you with. Watch yourself around Chicago. Late this afternoon, this evening, there's going to be delays. Number two, it is mid-July today up and down the eastern seaboard. We'll keep an eye on that boundary as it drifts south. And number three, we could be looking at the first tropical depression or storm of the season. If it happens, it'll be this weekend. All right, well, stay tuned to AccuWeather.com. We'll keep you updated. Have any questions, please contact us. And again, all of these stories that I talked about can be found on AccuWeather.com, so make sure you check it out.